Hello, everybody. This is Ronnie Ake, host of Second Chances on Life podcast. We're going to be talking today about the family unit and support group. This is something that's near and dear to me, and should be near and dear to you. It's probably one of the more important aspects of the whole thing, other than getting to the point of surrender and asking the Lord for help, and just knowing that you have a problem and learning to love yourself and forgive yourself first. But it is right there at the top. So I want to start every episode. I want to apologize ahead of time. I've got a cough drop. I'm getting over some sinus and allergy problems. I am at my house today, and you might see a little schnauzer running around in the background, or if you hear a squeaky toy, I apologize ahead of time. That would be my dog, Sig, named after the gun manufacturer, Sig Sauer. But anyways, I want to give thanks today, first to my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I want to thank my family, my wife, my son. I want to thank Seth Wadley himself. Thank you, Seth, for everything. And I want to thank Seth Wadley Auto Group as well. They've been very supportive, not just to me, but to Rob's Ranch Recovery Center, which was my next one to thank. I want to thank Rob's Ranch Recovery Center in Purcell, Oklahoma. All the staff, they're wonderful. You can't buy better counseling and better pasture, even better food for a recovery center. It's all, I can't say anything bad about it. The place is sanctuary. It is so nice, but I'll get to that on another episode, and we'll be recording some episodes from Rob's Ranch. But if not for all those people I just thanked, I would not be here today. I have zero doubts on that. I had one foot in the grave at the point of surrender, and it was about to kill me. I was to the point where I didn't care if tomorrow come. So all of this is in hopes to help somebody out there hear something that they can relate to. We're going to have guest speakers on, and hopefully we think people hearing other people's success stories of finding faith and getting help and breaking the chains of addiction, that they will know that they are wanted, they are needed, they are loved, and there is a life out here worth living, because I lived it. I was there myself. Excuse me for the clearing of the throat. I can't help it. So I want to talk about the family unit. I want to talk about how bad we are as addicts. And I may glance down a few times at my notes and just as reminders, but I've got some good points here that I want to talk about and I feel is needed. The support system is the family unit. Hopefully you have some kind of a support system. You know, you have a wife or a family, mom, dad, grandparents, somebody that has faith in you, that you will, seek help one day and become a better person for it and get off drugs, alcohol, whatever your addictions might be. So the topic is family and the support system. So why do we as addicts and alcoholics treat the ones that love us, that we should love, the worst? Well, I can tell you firsthand it's just because they're handy and they know us better than anyone, and no one can push your buttons like the ones you love. But that is an excuse. That does not make it right. I'm guilty of it. You're probably guilty of it. We say things, we do things under the influence that we wouldn't say or do. There's Sig, if you've seen him in the background, sorry. But we say things and do things that we wouldn't normally do if we weren't under the influence. And they deserve better. If they're standing behind you, man, they deserve better. They deserve our best, and we should give it to them. I want to talk about some things that I know from talking to other people and from my own personal experiences, is the selfishness, the greed, the insecurities, the anger, the outburst. I mean, I was a runaway train. I say that on several episodes. But why are we so selfish? Why are we so greedy? I think it's our addiction takes over us, and we just are going to do whatever we can at whatever cost to get high, get drunk, or whatever our addiction is, we're going to feed it at the cost of everybody and everything around us. And if you can relate to that, then you know exactly what I mean. And that doesn't make it right. It is wrong. It is wrong decisions, bad decisions, and it's time to man up and stop blaming other people for our mistakes and decisions. These are your mistakes and your decisions. I didn't have anyone force a funnel down my throat and pour the pills and booze down my throat. I made those decisions. I was a typical addict, though, just like everybody else, and I wanted to blame the world and everybody else for my problems. I was carrying the weight of my dad's death, I guess, for many, many years. And even though I thought I'd gotten over it and moved on, I didn't realize that I really hadn't until I got to Rob's Ranch and got the help and care and therapy that I needed. And it was a liberating moment. And you deserve that same type of liberating moment. But your family is what we're talking about today. And they deserve better. They deserve to be safe and happy. If you're one of those, I'm guilty. Losing my cool, throwing a fit, breaking things, just acting a runaway train, pure blown idiot. I'm guilty. I've been there, and you probably have too. And here's a question for you: is if our spouses that we're blaming and using as piñatas on all this emotionally and some of you physically, if they were to act that way toward us, would you be married to them? My answer was hell no. I didn't even have to think about it. I didn't have to pause about it. The answer is no, and no every time. Sorry, we have a text come through there. But no, there's no way most of us would be married to us if the roles were reversed. So why do we treat them so bad knowing that they love us, they're hopeful that we recover and we get the help that we want, and they're standing behind us? Just like I said a minute ago, we all want to blame other people for the reason we do the things we do, and those are cop-outs, man. They are just simply cop-outs. You are responsible for your own choices, your own decisions, and that mouth of yours and mine is the silver-tongued devil. I can hurt people with my tongue. That is the sharpest knife in the drawer and in the arsenal that you have. I've healed from wounds from head to toe. The interior ones are the hardest ones to overcome. And yet we are causing interior and some of you exterior problems and pains and scars on the ones that love us. And they deserve better. They deserve better. They deserve to be happy. They deserve to be safe with or without us. I want you to hear that. Your family and loved ones deserve a happy life and to be safe. And if that means not being with us or you, then they deserve that. So you need to make a choice. Am I going to change? Am I going to get all this poison out of me? You know, the devil uses it as a tool. It's the devil's temptations, and he will use it at your weakness. He's never going to come at you at your strengths. He's always going to come at you with your weaknesses. Are we going to man up, own our own life, take our life back, make the right decisions? And if we do, and we do have loved ones that are at home standing behind us, we owe it to them to show them that we're better than that. They deserve better than that. But it's not going to be quick. It's not going to be easy. It's a struggle, and it's a long one, and it has to be a slow one. We didn't tear down the walls of Jericho, so to speak, overnight, and we're not going to rebuild them overnight either. So you're going to have to ask the Lord for help. You're going to have to ask the Lord to help them. So forgiveness isn't easy. I want to talk on that for a minute. And I want you to listen to what I'm saying. I've lived it. I know this to be true. You cannot truly love and forgive anyone if you cannot love and forgive yourself first. So you have to take a long look in the mirror and talk to that person in the mirror. I always say man in the mirror, but this is for women too. I have, through my recovery and getting out here and trying to help other people, have found that there's overwhelming growing population of alcoholics and addicts are women and young people under 21. And that's sad. But you cannot love and forgive anyone if you can't love and forgive yourself. And that is the hardest person to love and forgive. That long look in the mirror, the windows are the eyes are the window to the soul. And if you look in that mirror and you look through them pupils and you see past what you see and you look into your own soul and you know this is not the person you want to be, this is not the person you've wanted to be, and the Lord has better plans for you and you want to find what those plans are for you, you're going to have to forgive you first and ask the Lord to forgive you, and then you're going to have to pray for your family to do the same. But if they're outside waiting on you, if you go to therapy, say, or like Rob's Ranch, if your family's out waiting for you to get out of here, then they love you. They wouldn't be waiting if they didn't. But the main thing is we can't treat them like we've been treating them. And those guys that like to get physical when they're drunk, I can't say that I've ever struck my wife. I've probably grabbed her. I say probably. I have grabbed her more firmly than I should have, or moved her out of the way if I was wanting to leave and she's trying to stop me or something from leaving so I wouldn't drive under the influence like a moron. I've done those things, and I'm shameful for them, and I'm sorry, Carla. My wife's name's Carla, my son's named Dakota. I owe both of you better, and I'm sorry for the things that I've done. I've already apologized, but I can't apologize and say I'm sorry enough, and I love you guys very much. Without y'all, I probably wouldn't be here, so thank you very much. But those guys that like to get physical, man, I like to call you out. That means you're weak. If you want to pick and bully on somebody that's weaker than you, your kids especially, your wife, yeah, you need to man up. If you want to fight, go out and pick a fight with a grown man or something. Don't sit there and take it out on your family. That's not a real man. That's a coward. And I'm guilty of it. So I'm not just talking to you, I'm talking to me too. They deserve better, with or without us. I mean, if it means you getting out of therapy or whatever and coming home and not showing any change and you going right back to your old ways, you don't deserve them. They deserve to be happy and safe, with or without us. I don't know how many times I'm going to have to say it. But if you truly want them back, be a man up, and start making the next right decisions, one after the other, one foot in front of the other. It's not going to happen overnight. They say one day at a time. That's the only coin that I carry, and it's got the serenity prayer on the back of it. One day at a time. Tomorrow will work itself out. So I'm going to look at my notes here real quick. I was going to say something too about those that get drunk and go run around and practice infidelity and they're abusive and they want to blame the wife or the kids for all their decisions. I mean, if you're out screwing around and you're out drinking and just running around, you can't blame anyone else for those choices other than yourself. You're making them, and you need to change. If you don't, you're going to end up like me. I'm on a runaway course with being in a grave with dirt on my face, or in a urn full of ashes, or in prison. You get to drive in and you kill someone or injure yourself, it's going to cost you a whole heck of a lot of money. If it don't cost someone their life or you your life, it's going to cost you a lot of money. So today's world, there's Ubers, there's call a friend, there's everything you can think of. We do not need to drive. I am guilty of it. I am not sitting here preaching anything that I have not done or experienced myself. So we owe them better, guys and girls. The scars that are caused, that we talked about a little bit ago. So I realized this, when I was in Rob's Ranch, that here I am blaming my upbringing or whatever, a bad day for my choices. I had a lot of scars, and I was brought up that, you don't show too much emotion, especially crying. It was dry it up or I'll give you something to cry about, or, shut up or get hit or whatever. It was, and I'm not saying that to be mean. I had great parents. I was raised a silver spoon kid with every toy and every gift you could think of. But, discipline in the house, every house is different. And I just chose not to lay hands on my family. I always chose to leave, and that's not the answer either. I gave my family separation anxiety because I might be gone for days, and that's not the answer either. But I was at Rob's Ranch blaming the world for reason I'm here, and I was pissed off and angry. And I'm ashamed to say that I was told by a couple of counselors I might actually have been one of the angrier people to ever come through there. And that's shameful. That's embarrassing. But I was an angry, dangerous person. I didn't care if tomorrow come, and I wasn't scared of dying. I wasn't scared of anything, and I was just angry. So I hope you don't know what that's like. And if you do, it can change. I'm 56 years old. I lived most of my life like that. It's just the last almost 2 years that I've realized there's a better way. But I'm here to tell you there is a better way. You do not have to act like that. But the scars. So here I see Sig at the back door. I've already let him out about 3 times this morning, so he's just wanting out so he can get another treat. I think we give him them little bacon treats, and me and my wife call it he's faking for bacon. So anyways, sorry about that. I just had no other choice than to record at home until we can find a good permanent home or place to record from. We may be scattered all over the place, but anyways, here I am blaming the world for my decisions and my internal scars and stuff. It hit me like a ton of bricks. Maybe it was a speaker, maybe it was a group therapy or a small therapy, I don't know. But what kind of scars have I caused on the ones back home? Here I am blaming the world and everybody else I can think of for the reason I act the way I do in my scars. What kind of scars have I caused on people? And man, that stopped me in my tracks. It's so true. We can't change the past, folks, but we can damn sure change the present, and we can sure change the future. So stop and think about, put your own self aside. Your emotions and everything don't really matter. It's the ones that we've hurt, that we owe an apology to, and that they deserve better. Think about all the times you've said things that you wish you could take back, or you've acted in a way that you wish you hadn't. Those cause scars, man. And those scars stay forever. They may forgive us. They're not going to forget it. And we owe them better. And little by little, day by day, we can make it a better life for them. We can make it a better life for us. And I knew at that point that I'm changing the way I think and the way I do things. And I'm going to try to be a better man for it. Not just my family, my friends, co-workers, strangers I run into. I owe everybody a better me than what I've given for all these years. And if you ever see this and you know me and I've ever done you wrong or said or did anything that was wrong, I apologize for it. And I hope you forgive me for it. But everybody that sees this, you need to know that you need to get comfortable doing that, asking for forgiveness. And it's for yourself more than anything. That person may not forgive you. They may hold a grudge forever, but once you ask for forgiveness, that cross to bear is on their back then. You've done all you can do. Is you've prayed for that person and ask the Lord to maybe you can give them the strength to forgive you. But if they don't, then that's their cross to bear, and you can move on in peace. And I didn't realize what true inner peace was until my counselor told me to write the letters to my dead dad and my loved ones and stuff, and I thought was ridiculous. You go down to the cross at Rob's Ranch, and it's a beautiful place, but you read your letters to them. You're crying. I didn't even know I could cry, but you're crying. You pray over them, and you light them on fire, burn them, and they just go up in smoke. And the moment that they go away is a moment you'll remember for the rest of your life. It's truly liberating. But help is out there, guys. I found it. I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you if it wasn't true. I'd be dead. So back to the subject here. Sorry if I got off course a little bit there. Those things are important, and I just want to say them. But the scars, man, just think of the scars that you cause on other people and ask for forgiveness. And our words don't mean squat. We have lied, manipulated, and controlling. I think we control the situation and control other people so much and want to know where they're at every minute or what they're doing. If that's you, if you know what they're doing at every minute and where they're at every minute, that means you know where they're at and you can go do your thing and not get caught. Well, that is a coward's way out. That is those of us are that. If you're that guy that likes controlling everybody and the situation, and you think that you're dominant over everybody, or you're too good, you're top shelf, man, and you can't be touched, then you need humbled. You, have not hit your bottom, but it's coming, and it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt real bad. And I hope that it's not too late for you. I hope that you have the strength, because the Lord will let us hit our face. He will let us fall flat on our face in order for us to push ourselves up to our knees and look to Him for forgiveness. And I believe we have to be broke to be fixed. But if you're that person and you're still blaming everybody else, and you ain't man enough or woman enough to own your own decisions and your own mistakes, your bottom's coming. I just hope it ain't too late for you when it does come, and you still have loved ones around you, and you still live to see another day, because it can kill you. And a lot of people have been buried thinking that they're bulletproof. I had an old cowboy. I work for Seth Wadley Auto Group, and right now I'm at the Ford store in Ada. And when I was in Pauls Valley at the Ford store, before I went to rehab, I had an old cowboy. He had the big handlebar mustache and everything. Looked like he was right out of Lonesome Dove. And I just love these old cowboys. Rough on the outside and the exterior, calloused and scarred, but tender-hearted and to the point. He's not going to BS you and tell you anything that isn't true. We got to talking. I told him about my drinking and the trip that I'd had to the hospital and blacking out, and them telling my wife to leave so they can bring in the equipment in case they need to jumpstart me if I go. He told me, son, it sounds like the Lord gave you a warning shot. And if I was you, I'd heed that warning shot, because not everybody gets one. He says, I've buried a lot of people that's had addiction problems that didn't heed warning shots. Some didn't get them, and some just don't listen. So sounds like you've been fortunate enough the Lord gave you a warning shot, and if I was you, I'd listen to it. And that hit me like a ton of bricks. That made so much sense, and that's exactly what it was. I truly believe I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for the Lord just wasn't done with me. And I believe it's my mission and my call to do what I'm doing right now. Talk about it, get it out there, and try to help as many people as I can. I'm going to try to wrap this up. I want to touch on a couple of points. I need to look at my notes. Okay, here's one. After we can own our own choices and mistakes, and we can ask for forgiveness, we've got to be man enough to make the change. You got to be man enough to make the changes that are needed, and they're going to be slow. You got to be man enough to ask for forgiveness, and you got to be man enough to take the steps that it takes to prove that we are changed. Like I said, our words don't mean anything. We've lied and manipulated for years. So don't expect a miracle overnight, even though you might be a miracle overnight like I was, and it just shocks the heck out of everybody, and they think you're fronting and full of it, but you're not. Excuse me. So it's going to be slow, guys and gals, but you deserve it, and the ones that love you deserve better. So take those chances, make those choices, and ask the Lord for help, and start healing immediately. Seek help. You know, if it's not you and you know someone else that needs help, please reach out to them. So let them know that they are loved and they are wanted. There is help out here, and life is worth living if you just get out of your addiction. It's poison, guys. If someone said, here's a glass of poison, you might get a little high off of it a little bit, but it's going to wear off. It's going to just poison your system. It could kill you. I've been that same guy, and I say, hell, give me a double. And why we think that way and why we're that stupid, I don't know. But that's exactly what it is. The devil's saying, here's your glass of poison. And I say, give me a double. I don't get it. But anyways, here we are. I said it's going to be slow, and you have to be sincere. If we're not sincere and you can't forgive the man in the mirror or woman in the mirror, and you can't love that person, then you can't forgive or love anyone else. So I'm going to try to wrap this up right now. I want to say a quote that I heard at Rob's Ranch from a friend of mine, Joe Pello. He said, try little things, little tests, little experiments, little goals. First off, make your bed every day. Sounds silly. And I wasn't much of a bed maker. I have to be honest. I was pretty spoiled. My wife usually did it, and I just never even really thought about it. So make your bed every day and put your shoes under your bed. The reason being, if you can't do anything else right the whole day and you feel like you've been a failure, at least you've made your bed and you've done something right. And the reason you put your shoes under the bed is you have to get on your knees to get them. And in the morning, when you make your bed and you're on your knees getting your shoes underneath that bed, you might as well thank the Lord for the day. Ask Him to give you the strength to stay sober for that day. And the whole thing is to get to the Lord before the world gets to you. That is some great advice. If you can't take on much of anything that I've just said, do that and man up and own your own mistakes and your own decisions. They're yours. They're not your family's, and they're not everybody else's. When you can do that, ask the Lord for forgiveness, and then start asking the ones you love for forgiveness, and try to make amends with those that you've done wrong. So I'm going to end with that. I'm going to say the Serenity Prayer real quick, and I hope you learn it. It's great. If you ever go to rehab, you will learn it. You will hear it. So here we go. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Amen. So if you don't know that Serenity Prayer and you ever go to rehab anywhere, more than likely you're going to learn that prayer, and you're going to say it multiple times every day. It's a great prayer. And just think about it. We get all bent up and out of shape over so much BS throughout the day. Most of it we have zero control over. And we're just like at my work, I'm just one spoke in the wheel. I'll do my job and I'll hold everybody else accountable to do theirs. If they do theirs, that means I don't have to do theirs and they don't have to do mine. So hold yourself accountable, do your part, and don't sweat or don't worry about the other stuff that you have no control over. And you will realize instantly that today's not as hard as yesterday. I'm worried about everything else. I don't have a single thing or a single control over any of that. So just do what you can do. So I'm going to end with that, guys. I pray for the families. I hope that the families of addicts and alcoholics can even watch this and get something out of it. Please understand that your loved one, when they're acting out like that, and you know they don't act like that or say the things they say and do when they're not under the influence, that they're probably truly regretful. I know I was. And they probably truly love you even though they have a hard time showing it. So pray that they get the help they need and help them get the help they need. You people that stand behind us alcoholics and addicts are the true heroes. And the one thing that I did do right that I would recommend to anybody if they go through therapy or rehab and AA is when you get a coin and you hit a mile marker and a milestone, ask for 2 or buy the extra one and give it to your spouse, because they've been with it through all this too, and they deserve it, probably more than you do. But if you're being physical and controlling and laying hands on your family and stuff, man up. That ain't the way to do it. If you want to fight and be rowdy, like I said earlier, just go out and, pick a fight with someone your own size or bigger, and stop hurting your family, especially if they're standing behind you and they love you. It's just pathetic. So anyways, I want to end on a positive note, not a negative one. I just pray for you. I pray for both sides of that coin. So we're going to have a website up soon. I'm going to be doing some sober coaching. You'll be able to block out 30-minute times. We may allow some hour intervals in there too. And I'm going to help coach people through sobriety. Not that I know everything or have all the answers. I don't. But I've played sports all my life, and I've had some coaches that made a huge impact in my life, and positive impacts at that. And I'm going to hold you accountable. I'm going to be your cheerleader. I'm going to be the one rooting you on, and we're going to set goals, and we're going to have some accountability. And I'm not going to be your sponsor. I hope you get a sponsor. Everybody needs a sponsor. And if you don't have the support group and the family unit that is a positive one waiting for you back home, not everybody does. Look for sober living options. I'm telling you, my friend Joe Pello owns several houses. I don't know how many he has now, a lot. And I know a lot of the men that go to him just because I stay in touch with the ranch, Rob's Ranch, and I try to stay in the loop. But if you don't have that family unit of strength that you can go back to, and sometimes even if you do, I suggest you look into sober living, at least until you can get the training wheels off and you can be around other people drinking and partying or smoking or doing whatever they're doing or whatever your DOC was, your drug of choice. So I pray for y'all. I hope this touches somebody and helps somebody. And we'll have a website up soon and have links to all this and support systems and where to get help. So I hope you have a blessed day. Please help somebody else and let the Lord work through you, and you can be a shining light. We can't change the world, but we can make a difference one person at a time. So again, I thank you for your time and thank you for listening to this, and God bless.